Okay, now let's get into the inside of the actual steps and sequences of the morning ritual, just to give you a little bit of insight into the thought process, what's going on behind it and why. The first thing that is going to be important for you to do is to realize you're going to get connected. And what I mean by get connected is get connected with yourself and get connected with Source, that universal energy field that's kind of going on. And so one of the first pieces that we're going to do is introduce you to a concept called hara. Hara is the dimension of intent. It's literally like the void. And when you go deeper into esoteric and spirituality and wisdom knowledge in this field, we recognize that 96% of the known and unknown universe is the unmanifested realm, the void. And from that void comes the spark of creation, which goes on to create the stars and the planets and the solar systems. But the space in between, all of that is the void, right? So we come through the void, and the void is a dimension of hara. I've got a separate video just on hara, so please check that out, because if you can master this one thing, I promise you, it's the first step and only step that you need to evolve. If you weren't doing anything else and just did hara and just mastered hara, life would begin to work very well for you, because you'd begin attracting towards you everything you need to grow and evolve. Okay, of course, if you choose to keep going on past that, right, well, there's so much more things you can be sensing and doing to speed everything up. But hara is that place where you're connected in deeply with yourself in that field of intention. Every time you hold an intention, it sets in motion the energy, frequency, and vibration of the field around us. A very simple experiment for yourself. If you know what a pendulum is a little pendulum device which people can use for dowsing. Hold the pendulum and hold an intention to allow the pendulum to swing clockwise. And then when you're holding that intention, you'll see the pendulum swing clockwise. And then change the intention when you've got it swinging big, and change the intention to up and down. You'll see that simply by changing the intention, the pendulum will change its motion. And that is a very beautiful, simple feedback mechanism for yourself to understand how your intention drives and governs everything in your life. So the first thing is that we're going to get into hara. And then we're going to start to work and activate your energy centers. And your energy centers, of course, are to start with, the 7 personal chakras. As you evolve, you start to recognize that there are other morphogenetic chakras, that go beyond the personal 7, 8 here, 9, 10, that start to open up the faster wavelengths for you. But for now, the 7 personal chakras, you want to open those up and get them open so that you can receive all the information from the energy field and open up your perceptions. It's kind of like opening up your eyes for all the filters that are available, not just working through the 2nd or the 3rd. One of the things I teach in my Neo-Shamanic Society for the healers there is how people begin to modulate their chakras, their energy centers, to compensate for the conditioning they have. For example, if they had that early 1-year conditioning of not feeling safe in the household and the first chakras, shut down, well, there's no frequency and energy that comes into the system from the earth. Or they might have a distortion in and around their heart where they're not receiving and feeling themselves as unconditional love. This begins to shut down the 4th energy center, and they don't receive as much feed into that. So the first thing we want to do is just start our day with all our energy centers open and being able to receive and send that energetic broadcast. And as we do that, we're going to start to recognize ourselves operating at a much higher wavelength. And the next piece, of course, is to hold love, to hold unconditional love in their field. And I think one of the biggest pieces that humanity needs to make the leap in is to recognize that love is inside of us. It's not just inside some of us, it's inside every single being on the planet. It's just that many of them have forgotten because of conditioning. And what ends up happening is that you end up going in life in this kind of pattern whereby you end up in these codependence patterns. And the codependence is, I need this person to behave in a certain way in order for me to feel love because I don't have it in myself. So we set up this little bit of expectation that they need to behave this way for me to receive love, and then I end up with disappointment inside myself when they don't, and then usually a projection of blame. And then when they feel the blame, they adjust their behavior towards us, and it sets in motion a whole spiraling, a host of patterns that can come around by this one simple one thing: I feel separate from love. When you know you are one with Source, and when you know that you are love on the inside, naturally you begin to fill yourself up from that space, and you fill others up from the overflow, the radiating overflow of unconditional love that you feel for all things. So we bring that frequency of love into our field. And the second piece is that we go into gratitude and prayer. And what the attitude of gratitude is that gratitude is the frequency door opener for your cells. It's the frequency gatekeeper to allow you to experience all that it is that you want to experience because you're grateful for it. And that gratitude allows you to receive. And the receiving is a big part of it. And some people have to work through layers of conditioning around undeservedness. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to have this abundant life. I don't deserve to have love. I don't deserve to have a loving relationship. And all these elements, prevent that. And gratitude helps to open the gates. And so as we start to feel gratitude, it allows us to enter the field of allowing. And allowing can bring things in. And what we start our day with is a prayer. And so what I like to call prayer is talking to Source, talking to Prime Creator, talking to God, whatever it is we label, the unlabelable. The prayer is us asking. Meditation, the emptiness without prayer, is receiving. So many people forget to get in motion the prayer, right? The asking. So the prayer gets in motion the asking, and then there's time, of course, for the stillness, which is the receiving, the guidance. So gratitude and prayer is the second step. Next, you're going to move into, a little bit of forgiveness. And this forgiveness is allowing to let go of any attachments and bindings that are holding back you from the next level. For example, when you hold resentment towards something, towards someone, there's a level of still wounding inside your system that hasn't yet been healed and let go of. And the highest level of healing when you're ready is full and total and utter forgiveness. So that there's nothing in your system that you can kind of grab onto. And a great testing point for all of us is that level of forgiveness to our parents or to the person who we feel has wronged us the most, that ex-lover, that ex-friend, whatever it is. When we hold those resentment bindings in, it lowers our vibration because we're still carrying the wounding. So forgiveness to any past things that have wronged us. The fourth step is holding the vision, what I call the big intent. And the big intention is the big vision for your life. So in the morning ritual, you'll be visualizing the biggest, most expanded version of your life stream. And fill it with color, populate it with emotion, because the emotion is the secret sauce to make the impossible possible. And so as you kind of bring that in, emotion is the magnetic force. So you want to make sure you're flooding your system when you're doing your visioning with emotion, a lot of positive, uplifting, joyful, optimistic emotions, layered with the intention of your vision, okay? And making sure that there's a why, there's a purpose under that. That's really kind of the key. And as you then start to hold that big vision, you'll move into your daily intent, what I might call the smaller vision. What am I going to be setting an intention for this day? What's my intention for today? How does today's actions feed into my vision? And ultimately, you can go into a whole thing on productivity, and we're really talking about the highest levels of productivity is energy management. That sets in motion the energetic container for what you create. But of course, there are kind of smaller action steps. How does my day feed into my week? How does my week feed into my month? How does my month feed into my quarter? How does my quarter feed into my year? And how does my year feed into my 3 years? These are the types of things that you can really start to drill down on your own time as you start to set these little micro intentions for each day and week and month to set you in the motions path. It's how you create in the physical realm as you take action. It's not going to happen without it. It's not just going to happen sitting in a cave and holding the frequency like many Hopium people who were studying the law of attraction thought all they had to do was meditate on a cushion. No, you've got to roll up your sleeves and take action as well. You have to be pragmatic, but the frequency alignment of the energetics helps to get you in the right frequency set point. Still got to take action. That's what your intention and your motion does, gets things happening. And the last phase of all this is a blessing. And the blessing just, offers that divine reverence for your path ahead, to bless your path ahead. Like what we're doing here through this whole process is setting up your golden path, right? We're evolving you and aligning you to your path of life. There's no destination to it, it's a journey, but you want to be on the sweet spot of your journey where you can be of most use and service based upon your skill sets and your intentions and your purpose. As you begin to skate yourself more and more into that sweet spot, right, where your passions, profession and purpose all come together, then you really start to make magic happen. And the blessing is like sprinkling little magic dust on your path and witnessing and watching that every step into the unknown, right, is met. Kind of like that scene in Indiana Jones where he has to do the leap of faith across the chasm to get to the other side. He has to put his heart on his hand and step into that kind of future, when he doesn't know there's certain death below him. That's that level of faith required of stepping into the unknown. And that is what working on yourself, on your consciousness can do. You can leave behind the certainty of the physical and enter into the unknown space, knowing you've got internal certainty that the future you're imagining is coming towards you because you're holding the frequency for it. And that's the beautiful path of this journey, because natural law provides you the feedback on how you're going towards that. As you start to make more progress, right, you start to, I'm making progress on my consciousness. As there's blocks, I have to start looking into this. What could be blocking me? What internal belief do I have holding me back? What is coming from my conditioning that holds me back from achieving this next step, this next layer of my reality? And so life's, when you look at it like that, super exciting, because it's just a game. We're just like here in these physical avatars working out this game of life. And I feel that the morning ritual is kind of the secret sauce starter pack to jumpstart your system, plug in the operating system that you need to play the game, and to be able to move and up-level yourself through the game of life. Okay, so that's the morning ritual unpacked. Let's take a look at next up on the video, some of the universal laws in motion.